Good evening. My name is Terrence Floyd. I'm a fire commissioner. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting. Today's Thursday, January 14th, 2021. Mr. Weddle, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for all firefighters and those in emergency services. Thank you. So all of the commissioners are here. In addition to that, in attendance, we have our secretary and treasurer. Before I start any further meeting items, I just want to take a moment to thank an individual here in town. He's from a legacy family. He's a Korean War veteran, business owner for over 60 years, dedicated public servant, and quite the volunteer in town. Eric Nicolason sat in this chair, the chairman, for many months before I took over. And I just want to say thank you to Eric for the time that you spent with me when I first came on board and everything that you've done for the fire department and the Newcastle Fire District #1. We wish you all the best in the future, and we'll see you around. So with that, quick statement regarding public comments. We're going to move public comments to the end of our meeting because our primary goal here during our regular meetings is to conduct the business of Newcastle Fire District #1. So if we do have any public comments later, I do have some statements that I'll read before, and then we'll take those public comments with the certain restrictions that will apply. Having said that, Chief's report.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Hey, Chief.
What's up?
How you doing?
Fairly brief report today. So we don't have any new business I didn't put it down, but we got access to the vaccination on what day was it? Wednesday, I believe. And so far, everybody in our department has a date and a time. Some people who got on it, we sent it out at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we also sent out a text. So those who got on it right away have already started getting vaccinated this week. And unfortunately, some people that took their time are out into March and April. So with that, we've been in discussions with Interstate, our medical provider, and they are diligently trying to become a provider through the state of New York to be able to deliver the vaccine. It's a little bit of a process, so we're not sure when that's going to actually go through. But if they do get the approval and actually get vaccine, people that have scheduled out into March and April, we will have Interstate come to the firehouse and provide that vaccine earlier than what their schedule is. So we're working in conjunction with Millwood, and we've also offered that out to the police department because scale is a big deal in terms of getting the right amount of vaccine. So that's in the process. We'll see where it goes. But as we're being told by Interstate and other people that are doing it, the state hasn't made it very easy to become a provider. There's a lot of hoops that you got to jump through. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But right now, everybody who wants to get the vaccination has applied for a time and has it. It's just a matter of when and go from there. So that's the new business. Old business, we're still having a problem with the town as it relates to fire hydrants. We haven't had any responses to our correspondence about rocks and other things that have transpired over the last 6 months. So we're trying to follow up on that and get an answer. But that's still problematic for us because we don't have a lot of faith in the hydrant system that we're not going to suck rocks in and do damage to our apparatus. And more than likely, we won't we really won't know the extent if there was damage to the apparatus until we do a pump test, probably in June. So we'll see where that goes.
Chief, one question regarding that. At what point do we, as the board, get involved and contact the town and request a meeting?
Well, you guys can request a meeting and so forth. Traditionally, there's been a little bit of deflection, and we get stuff on paper that is that this is what the flow rate is. But at the end of the day, we're talking about practical stuff. I think that if you want to have a discussion as it relates to the fees that you pay for the hydrant, when those fees come new, you guys should have some discussions because we are not getting the service that we would like to get. And I don't have a hell of a lot of faith that, each hydrant we go to, we're not going to suck up rocks.
And I'm sorry, Chief, we're still paying about $100 per hydrant?
Oh, we're paying almost $200 a hydrant. I think our bill is just shy of $100,000 a year. On hydrant rental. A while ago over the summer, we had a problem on Pine Cliff. We had a shed fire and the hydrant didn't deliver the rated capacity that they had tested and painted, or so they said they had tested and painted. And we brought it up to them. And to this day, we have not heard back as to what's going on. And they gave us a document that said that the hydrant was going to flow a certain number of gallons a minute, and it was a mathematical computation based on the main size, but it wasn't an actual flow test. And we had asked for an actual flow test, and we've got nothing back. So
aren't they required to do a flow test every 5 years?
You guys got to get back into their stuff. There are certain accepted ways that they're allowed to calculate stuff. My belief is that they don't have the manpower to go out and test every single hydrant in every year to get it done. So I don't make myself familiar with what their requirements are as it relates to the water district. I'm just telling you that in the past 5 or 6 instances where we've hooked into a hydrant, we've had some problem and we haven't gotten a correspondence back as that it's been rectified or it's being worked on.
Thanks. We'll follow up on that, Chief. Thanks.
Okay. I think on there you have my expenses. With just some refreshments from some drills. We have the dates are set for our physicals for next year. As we discussed in previous board meetings, we're trying to get the department on a October schedule for physicals so we can take advantage of flu shots during the flu season and so forth. So this year the board has already agreed to do 2 physicals for people. We're going to do March to be in compliance with the standard, and everybody has to have one within a year. And then we're going to do another physical in October. I believe the date's October 10th. And then we'll be on that October date. And then we don't have to rely on anybody else to provide us with a flu vaccine. And this may even come in the future with COVID vaccines if they determine that it has to be re-upped every so many years, and we'll be on a schedule for that. So that's out there. The alarms that are in there, you got 41 alarms in the month of December. We had a significant number of almosts, a number of things that we got to quick enough where they didn't become a bigger incident. We had one where we had a fire in the walls on a home up on the top of Peck Place or Peck up Leroy up there that we got to and were able to extinguish and save the house. And then on Christmas morning, we had a family that had a fire in a fireplace in their living room, and we found out that the flue did not go all the way to the attic, and it was venting directly into the attic. So again, great job on everybody. Quick response time. We're able to avert a disaster. We also went to a significant structure fire in Pleasantville, spent about 5.5 hours there assisting them. So our structure fire numbers are up. In December, believe it or not, our false alarms came down significantly. I think it came down almost 11%. So that's a good thing. And let's hope that at least the false alarm numbers continue. So that's all I have from the report.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I got 2 receipts. They don't add up to what you got on your report.
One should be like 400 and one should be 125.
Yeah, the total
$525.
Oh, all right, because I saw the $95 down the bottom, and
No, it's up top. I highlighted it in yellow, the number that should have been additive.
okay.
You have a motion, Brian?
All right.
Brian, you got a motion?
Make a motion, accept it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chief, before you go, we had a brief conversation earlier today with respect to the fire alarm, the emergency alert system. Could you please very briefly just share your opinion on this issue, just highlighting the most salient, important items that residents need to consider?
Yeah, sure. So, like any other, planning that we have to do for emergencies, we have contingencies in place for problems that arise. And in alerting members, we have used the horn for the better part of, I don't know how long we went. Let's go back. It used to be a bell way back in the old days. And there was very few things that could go wrong with a bell, right? Every time there was a fire, the bell would ring. There wasn't technology involved and so forth. Our horn system is redundant, not only in its activation by who can activate it, but it's redundant to our pagers. It's redundant to messages that we get through the internet, and it's redundant to ways that we get connected via our cell phones. So I will tell you, over the last year and a half, we've had 4 or 5 different incidents where technology completely failed. So the cell tower on Hardscrabble Road, which provides Verizon and AT&T service, as well as some others, goes down every time there's a power failure, and there is no backup generator. So we lose that tower and completely lose our internet and our cell service to our phones. So that's problematic. And at the same time, not too long ago, during one of the storms, the county had a failure of its system, where the only way our firefighters were notified of an emergency was through the horn. And it was a carbon monoxide call, which we consider a life-threatening call because carbon monoxide's odorless and colorless. So if nobody showed up, somebody could have died. And on that day, we were very thankful that the horn actually activated. In and of itself, our paging system is a radio frequency, and I'm sure the people in the community will tell you that their cell phones and other electronic devices don't always work in every area of their house, that there are dead spots and so forth. So we rely on that horn for people that are close to the firehouse to be able to hear that and be a significant means of notification to the firefighters. And on a number of, I'll tell you, over the years, it has saved, our rear ends in the fact that nobody would have showed up because technology failed. The other thing is that as a fire chief, I kind of want the community to hear that horn, and people should kind of develop a situational awareness that, hey, there are volunteer firefighters that are responding to the firehouse. You may see them with their blue lights on. You should yield. There are children in the community that are in the village that should have an idea that, hey, there may be emergency apparatus coming through. So there's a multitude of reasons why we utilize that horn. And I would hope that any resident, although they may feel that it's somewhat bothersome at times, would hope that one day when their house is on fire or they're having an emergency and technology fails like it regularly does, that we would get the call through the horn and be able to show up to their house in a reasonable amount of time and render assistance. So we have exhaustively researched the technology end of trying to figure out a way around this. And from a risk management standpoint and a national standard standpoint in terms of redundancies, it really doesn't make any sense. I understand that it can be an inconvenience, but at the same time, it may very well save a life, and we can't pick and choose when we think that may be. So, as a chief officer, I'm adamant in the fact that I need to keep that going because time and time again, it's proven to be a benefit to the community and to the department.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, quick question. I seem to remember in the past during extreme weather events that 60 Control has to perform some level of triage on their dispatch. Is that still the case?
Oh, absolutely. So when we have a significant call volume in Westchester County due to whatever it is, you can use a natural weather event is a good example. They do not dispatch every single call over the radio. So what happens is that we have to have the ability to self-dispatch that, and we'll assign somebody in the radio room, and we can receive that again over the internet through our computers, which has failed. Okay. And then we've had to rely on landline telephones to actually get the alarm. And in instances, we have to activate the horn in order to make sure that we get our members out. And we also let our members know, like, guys, pay attention. Like right now, the cell towers are down. Don't rely on that. Keep your ears open for the horn. And as this came up years ago, we made a concession that says, listen, as much as it's against my training and my education, but we agreed to turn that horn off in between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning, saying we feel your pain as a community, but we still feel strongly we can live with this, not in the overnight, because hopefully we're all sleeping. But during the daytime hours, it's a needed, piece of redundancy.
Thank you, Chief. Entertaining a motion to accept the chief's report.
Already did.
Well, I thought that was just the expenses. Sorry. Nope.
No.
We're good? Okay.
I make the
Thank you.
motion.
Anything else for the chief?
Nope. Not here.
Chief, where you at? What are you doing?
I am teaching a class at the fire training center right now. I got 31 students waiting for me.
Fantastic. Go. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Treasurer's report.
So I sent you the profit and loss for the 2020 budget. To review, you'll notice we are overexpended on a few of the budget lines, and I have also put together a budget transfer that I hope you'll approve this evening. A lot of the expenditures happened in the contractual code, and a lot of them were towards the renovation or the new facility, whether it was the drilling for the boring and different reasons I'm sure Ed can speak to, but quite a bit of it was in contractual, and I don't believe in the beginning of the year it was budgeted for that. So you see where we need 47,000 there. That's our biggest line item that has been overspent. So if you could approve that budget transfer tonight, I will get it to the auditors for our close of the year. I sent you the check register with the checks that we've written in this month, and I had time, this evening to total it up, and that total would be $62,477.06. And if there's any questions on any of the items that were on the list, I'll entertain them, of course, email you a copy of anything you need to see. Just let me know.
Just for my edification, Robin, when you say budget transfer of what from where to where?
So I'm asking you to take, say, for instance, workers' comp insurance budget, which was had a $15,000 surplus, and move it into contractual services, because that budget was overspent by 47.
So we're not moving money out of capital reserves. We don't need a permissive referendum. We're just changing line item, just
changing line items so that for the end of the year audit, we can say, look, here's our budget now. It's our revised budget to reflect actuals.
Tony, you good with this?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you need a motion, or what do you need, Ron?
Yeah, we do have to have a resolution.
I move that we resolve to permit the treasurer to move line item surpluses into line item deltas in order to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I gave everyone a copy of the bank recs. We'll get the new signature cards to the bank tomorrow. I'm trying to think, the insurance has asked if everyone, in order to have the surety bond increase from 2 to 3 million, if everyone has had a background check.
We
I
forgot.
know- What's that?
Sorry, I'm sorry. We were talking about that earlier. We forgot to ask Russell to do that. Russell runs a background check every time somebody comes in the department. So I guess he needs to run me and he needs to run Terry,
Yes.
unless the other three fellows have gotten in some trouble in the past couple of years.
Nah.
Okay, and I've already been done too. Okay, so we'll make sure I'll get that to Russell.
Robin, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Were we to schedule a referendum to discuss firefighter benefits.
If we decided, I had a little article here just to refresh memory. We give $700 as an annual benefit to the firefighters who reach their point level, and I'm sure you're all aware of that. And that was increased, possibly could be increased to $1,200 by Governor Cuomo in November of 2019. It can be a sliding scale up. You can do it over as many years as you want, but it was an option, and we did talk about it, but it is a referendum item. And we
I'm
also
sorry,
mentioned,
I'm sorry to interrupt again, Ron, but I'm catching up. Are you talking about the LoSAP benefit, which maxes out at 800 a
Low-
month?
yeah,
LoSAP.
it's 700, I believe now. It was 6, I think it went up to 7, and now they're saying it can be increased
No,
to
it was
12.
8,
It was 8,
800.
Mhm.
and now they're
Ours-
punching it up to 1,200. Do we know what that, I mean, that's a large item.
It is.
Right.
It's a finance item.
We didn't budget it, but we talked about it, and we said you could slide them up if that's what you wished. You can do as little, as much, whatever, the referendum is, the public votes on, and whatever you put in front of them.
Has
Can I make a
Diane
recommend-
told us what the increase in cost would be if we went up to 1,200?
No,
No, not yet. We didn't really discuss it yet.
Can I make a recommendation? Could we put this on February's agenda to begin discussing it? This way we won't get caught, let's just say, unprepared on this issue. And then they'll give us a month all to get schooled up on it.
I
We
did
should ask-
send an email to Russell, but I didn't get a reply. I asked
we
him
should-
for his thoughts on it too.
Well, I'm sure he'd be in favor of it, but we should get the numbers from Diane. So,
Yeah. So Sandra, let's put that on with no objection from the commissioners for February's meeting, new business.
well, that looks like it's on me. It's insurance. So I'll call Diane Ripley.
Okay, you're the man. Thank you, Chris. Anything else, Robin?
No, I believe that's all I have.
Thank you, by the way, for everything you've been doing recently. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
Didn't pay the
Second.
bills. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting minutes of
The
December
secretary.
10th.
I have one change on it. I just caught it recently. On page 8, where it says, my term, 1 year, January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2022. It's supposed to be 2021, December 2021.
Pending that change, any other discussion? Do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Organizational meeting minutes.
Abstain.
The
Chris,
next
that was with
item-
respect, I'm so sorry, Chris, the abstention is with respect to the organizational minutes?
No, December 10th. I wasn't there.
Thank you very much.
The next item, organizational meeting minutes of January 7th of this year. Do we have any discussion on that?
No, thank you for turning them around so quickly, Sandra. I make a motion we accept with also our thanks to Robin for doing the first half.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Committee reports. Commissioner Hoy has nothing to report on the following: purchasing, uniforms, turnout gear, and medical and physicals. I do talk to the chief quite often on all these issues, but nothing significant to report tonight. Commissioner Frank, Technology and Engineering.
Okay, so nothing on technology. As far as engineering goes, Lynn Weinig is still communicating with the attorney for Oak Lane. And that's where it stands. Nothing's resolved yet.
As long, with respect to that and moving forward this year, if we could make sure that somehow we need to move forward on that, but we also need to recognize that they're very close, important neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
That they really need to move on this issue. We don't want to be forced to escalate this, but whatever you can do to move that along, Ed, that would be fantastic.
Okay, I'll talk to Lynn about it tomorrow.
Thank you. That's awesome. Anything else, Ed?
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Murphy, House.
House. Johnson Control was here to inspect the system, ADT system. The Dutchess door was here the other day. They replaced the motor and they put a new sensor in. It's a safety sensor. So if you hit the sensor, the door will stop, go right back up. He's going to get me a price because I asked him about the other doors. I could do the other doors except for one. I have to change the motor, and that's an old motor. So he's giving me a price for that. But that's with the ladder truck. And with the ladder truck, you'd get two sensors, one for the top because of the ladder and the bucket, and the other one for the truck. And that's because if the ladder, like the ladder does stick inside the building. So if the door starts coming down, the sensor will pick it up, the door will go back up. So it's a safety feature. The exhaust system is working. And Robeson has to get, the radiators are old. They have to get the little vents for the radiators in the chief's room. And one boiler has to get the vents on. And he's got to order all that stuff. So as soon as he gets it, he'll be calling to come back to put them on. Basically, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Tony, Finance, Trucks, and Communications.
Finance, Robin covered it. Trucks, Tower Ladder 27, Ruscon ordered the driver's side wheel chuck bracket, and a ground light was ripped off, and it's on order. Engine 144, we had an air leak, and the cause was the ladder rack. It has a bad air valve. It's the second one we replaced on it. So Ruscon ordered that new valve. Utility 155 on Sunday, late afternoon. We had it outside in the front bays, and it got wouldn't start. So Chief Russell called me to try to help him start it, and the two batteries were so far dead, they were really dead. They were the originals on that truck. So I had to get it towed up to Vail GMC in Bedford Hills. And they replaced the two batteries, and they also had a recall on one of the airbags on the passenger side. So they replaced that for free. And our new progress on the new utility, it's built, the truck is built, and we have a VIN number and everything, but it went to the Reading body. They're putting the body on it. And after that is done, I guess they're going to put the lift gate on. And then after that, we'll probably see it, soon. So it was a long haul. I guess this COVID virus, it's hitting everyone, and it was delayed. We were supposed to get it in November, at the end of November. It's in January already. So we should see it fairly soon.
Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt. The new utility, is it this same sort of piece of apparatus as the old utility?
Yeah, it's going to
It's
be
just
around. It's not a diesel, it's a gasoline engine, but
So
it's fairly the same.
are we selling the old one or keeping it?
No, we're going to keep it. We're going to sell the van. Yeah, the van, we're not using it enough, and every time they go use it, something goes wrong with it. Dead battery or something else, and
Right.
we're not using it. So
That makes sense.
yeah, like if it's in the winter during a snowstorm, instead of taking a fire truck out, we can take the two utilities out.
Right.
They have 4-wheel drive, so it'll be a plus. Communications. Dwight Smith is gonna put up a new scanner antenna for us. The old antenna blew off the building during one of the windstorms we had. So he's gonna take care of that for us. I think the antenna is gonna be around $95 to maybe $100. So he's willing to help us out on that. That's it on communications.
Thank you, Tony.
If I had to go back to the house for one quick second,
Yes, sir.
I forgot to mention that Dwight, when he was taking down the old antenna, noticed the top of the chimney, it was all cracked and everything. So I got a hold of Wayne Vizinger. He's supposed to come and look at it and let me know. Because Dwight thinks it might be leaking, so.
Good plan.
Right.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right. Commissioner Weddle. Insurance.
Insurance, nothing to report. I've been doing this for a week, so I don't know anything. With respect, are we going to the next one or?
Fine. Yeah, Chris. Yep.
I've got nothing on either. I did look briefly when I was at the fire station with Sandra and Brian last weekend. I looked briefly at the policy books. They don't look like they've changed since last time I saw them. I'll meet with you, Commissioner Hoy, and we'll see if we think they need updating. But is this come, other than our statutory mandate to review them annually, has anyone raised any concerns?
Well, I raised concern last year because we were supposed to review them and the didn't get done. So we'll take care of it this year.
Well, I did review the bylaws.
Have those changed?
I did review the bylaws last year. I mean, the only thing that wasn't in there was no dogs in the firehouse. And I brought that up and everybody agreed to that rule, but they haven't been changed.
So Chris, this is where I left it with Sandra on Monday when I met with her. I'm going to ask Sandra to hold you and I to the fire on this one, get it scheduled. We'll meet, we'll start reviewing, and then this way we can report back to the board where we are actually making progress in this regard. Does that sound good?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's actually not, it's not a question. I don't think in my mind of having to change anything. It's just, we're supposed at our organizational meeting to review those policies. So we've been dilatory in that, for a week, but we'll get together, we'll do it, we'll make recommendations.
We will.
Did you find anything that Eric Nicolation left about the policies that we went over some policies last year, but we didn't get to finalize anything?
No, I did not. I just looked through the binder that was left for me. I didn't look through any other work. I mean, I've glanced at the minutes over the past year or so, but I haven't seen anything significant.
Brian, did he leave anything in the commissioner's office?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a box there for you, Chris.
Yeah. Eric left quite a bit of material. Can I ask Robin and Sandra, please, to ensure that we have a complete list of all required policies? We're going to need to see that. The board needs to see the entire list of policies, the minimum number, and then of course we'll be adding to that as situations dictate.
Sandra, I can help you with that if you want. We need to pull them off the controller's website.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I could use the help. Thank you.
I thought we had two policies that you went into. Was it smoking? I mean, there were a couple policies you were talking about.
Yeah, smoking was one.
What the other one was?
A few months ago, two were updated on Russell's bequest, right?
Yeah, smoking was one of them.
Right. Was it procurement one? No, not the cure one.
But you didn't see that in the minutes, Chris.
Not that I recall. Doesn't mean it wasn't there. I just don't remember.
Okay, we'll look for that too. Two that were addressed.
Moving on, Chris, anything on town liaison?
No, I haven't annoyed anybody in the past week.
Okay. Okay, old business. We already discussed Oak Lane. Number 2, policy review. We already discussed that. Number 3, we have an email from Erica Hildebrand with respect to the fire siren. Fire siren. We have received it and we will consider his comments. However, I just might add that the board may share the exact feeling that was expressed by the chief earlier. Next item, just want to have a very, very brief discussion with respect to the timeline for any communication with respect to a possible addition on the Chapel Fire Department firehouse and headquarters. I think that in the press, there's been some indication that there was a specific timeline. There isn't. I believe that the time is not right to continue a discussion regarding a specific timeline. What I would like to do perhaps over the next couple of months is really dig into this issue, perhaps establish a community liaison board with specific duties to assist us in answering questions that residents may have that would pertain to any potential building. And then to perhaps come up with a schedule, socialize that schedule, communicate much more with the community, and then formalize a schedule that would include perhaps, if the timing is right and the residents are in support of and we have demonstrated a need, then we can go out and establish a date perhaps for a referendum. But right now, this is just my feeling. I don't think we're in a position right now. I think that this board needs to spend several months discussing this issue and then considering all options after perhaps establishing a committee with some of the residents. Any further discussion on that? Any ideas? Excellent, thank you. New business. It was brought to our attention last year by Robin because she's read the law like me, and along with the other commissioners, that we are responsible to cause and maintain a map of the fire district. Now, I do know that several maps have been created over the years. Well, what I'm suggesting, what I believe the board should do, is to create a new map using GIS technology. Most of the information that we need is readily available. It would just need to be layered and assembled in a format that would be very useful for the fire district and also for the fire department. I've already reached out to one such engineer and surveyor in the area who specializes in GIS technology. The individual has all the contacts and throughout the county, the state, and many of the municipalities around here. That'd be very helpful. So I just wanted to bring this up. We don't have to discuss it at length now. However, it is something that we need to do. We need to modernize our mapping capabilities. Any further discussion on that one?
Yeah, I would suggest that in addition to talking to whoever you talk to Robert Johnson, you talk to Bidet and Watson. There aren't but 3 or 4 firms in the county that do this.
You're absolutely correct.
I get prices from all of them.
I would not discount that at all. I think that's a fantastic idea. And anyone else, Ed, for example, if you know of a vendor who provides, this is GIS specific work. This is taking readily available maps, layering them. So we have a tool that we can use for a variety of purposes, including counting our fire hydrants, looking at zones, etc. So thank you for that, Chris, and we'll certainly consider any of these firms
And I should have mentioned, we have a relationship with Bidet and Watson because we paid them, I don't know how many thousands of dollars to do a complete X-ray of the existing fire structure.
I'd make a motion to go forward with it. Make the proposal and send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Get the prices.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Commissioner Weddle indicated, and I would wholeheartedly agree with him, that we need to update the two reports, the fire department apparatus fleet and equipment review and the fire station staffing and water supply review. The reason why this is important is, and this is just my view, of course, is number one, we haven't done it in several years. These reports should be done every 5 years, in my opinion. But there's several.
I think it's been 7.
Pardon
Yeah,
me?
it's gotta be
I think
7.
it's been 7. I think we did it in 2013.
That's correct. It was 2013.
Yeah, and this is my point. I said such reports should be done every 5 years or so. So
I make a motion to go forward with it.
Just 1 second, Brian, we're still in discussion. I think it's really important right now because here we're contemplating expanding the facilities. There's plenty of evidence and indication that we need to. We're trying to figure out how to do it. And in addition to that, there's also this issue of form-based code, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But moreover, and more importantly, I'm fairly concerned about the health and well-being of the volunteer firefighters. I think we need to take a close look at our facilities, and the only way to do that is to bring in a consultant, and let's scrub what we've done before, take a very, very close look at all the factors involved now, including COVID-19. So having said that, I believe we have a motion on the table to move forward.
I'm sorry, quick question.
Yes, sir.
I understood you to say scrub what we did before?
Yeah, I mean, scrub through the report, not scrub the report literally.
Oh, okay, because we spent a lot of money on this. They did a lot of background.
No, I
they
think
don't have to.
you misunderstood my naval engineering term. I won't do that again.
Well, not being either naval or an engineer, that's understandable. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is, we spent a considerable amount of resources once upon a time to have them map the history to and all this sort of thing. Nothing has changed in that regard. The only thing that has changed has been perhaps some of the demographics of the town and the call volume. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can just ask them to update those two reports. If you're going to go back to emergency vehicle response, and once upon a time they were considered the gold standard. I don't know if somebody else has popped up, but why reinvent the wheel?
Forgive me for using the term scrub. I won't do that again. No, I'm suggesting exactly what you're suggesting. No
Okay.
different.
Yeah, that was my motion to update it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that, Chris. This was Chris's idea, by the way, to resurrect these reports. Thank you.
Don't do that to me. Come on.
No, you're welcome.
I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'm gonna just.
So the next item, Chris, you and I need to schedule a meeting with Mount Kisco to continue the conversation with respect to the Northern Fire Protection area.
I don't think I'm the one you want with you.
Why is that, Commissioner?
Because I am opposed to what this board did. I just think it's wrong. So I don't think I'm the right person.
Well, no, but that's fine. But this is why you're here now, because we need your guidance and your
Sense of humor.
No, I agree with Terry.
Yeah, Chris, come on. We can do this.
You guys wrote a $36,000 check for goodwill. That's irresponsible. That's wrong, and it's ridiculous.
First of all, Chris, that's your opinion.
No, you said it. You said it. I was at the meeting. Remember? You said it.
So we're going to go ahead and schedule that meeting, and you're going to go with me, right, Chris?
Oh,
Yep.
If I have to, but you're not going to be happy with that decision.
Well, actually,
can I say
I'm just telling
something?
you. Well
Go ahead.
done.
Could I say something, please?
Certainly.
I think before you meet with Kisco, I think we should meet with the town and talk to the town about taking it over. They pay for the other side. I can't see why they can't just add the 147 houses in on what they're doing now.
Well, there you go. There's another way of looking at it, Chris. Well, why don't we
That's
do?
not, no, that's not, I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think.
what I say, you gotta talk to the town first.
Chris, we'll meet with Newcastle.
That's fine. Jill, do we have to meet with Jill?
Absolutely.
That means the hydrants are gonna come up, it's just gonna get ugly, but all right,
You're going to discuss Kisco first.
okay. We'll do the easy lift first. All right.
All right. So, Sandra, if you will, change that point. We're going to sit down with Newcastle first. And if the fire hydrants come up, we'll discuss it, but we're there primarily to discuss the Northern Fire Protection District area. Excuse me. Chris, we already talked about scheduling a working day. You and I we'll just get that done.
Okay,
Finally, I just wanted to make sure it was on the agenda. Everyone knows that there's an issue in town with respect to the form-based code. Many agencies and interested parties are weighing in. Newcastle Fire District #1 has been closely monitoring this situation. We chose to do a couple of things in general now, and this can change. #1, we decided we weren't going to take it to Facebook. And #2, we decided to just let's see how this works out. In addition, the chief did a good job in terms of a letter that he sent to the town. So right now it hasn't passed. There are no needed resources. There's really not much for us to do other than to update our reports. But I will say this, if form-based code does pass and there's a burden on any of the residents within the fire district, we do have the ability to eliminate or lessen the burden on the residents by establishing, or actually eliminating the burden, I should say, under the law by establishing fire protection zones. And that's something that we should consider. So I just wanted to bring it up. We don't have to discuss it here. I just wanted it on the agenda because I do believe we're going to have to address this at some point in the near future, whether it passes or whether the form-based code changes drastically. I just thought it was prudent to put it on the agenda. Discussion? Excellent, thank you. Correspondence. We did receive an email from Mr. Eric Hildebrand. We thank Mr. Hildebrand for his correspondence. And
don't stop.
And we will take his comments and consider those. So at this time, we're going to, first of all, Pamela, do we have anyone in waiting for public comment?
There is one person, yes, Lynn Lambert. Do
Okay.
you want me to just bring her in?
Nope, I'm going to read a statement first.
Okay, sure.
This is a public meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners of Newcastle Fire District #1. We will now have a public comment period of the meeting. Please come forward, state your name and address. Please state as simply as possible what you want the board to consider. This is not a question or answer session. This is part of a public meeting designed to solicit comments from the public. Please do not expect the board to answer any questions, as this time has been reserved for the public to inform the fire commissioner of their opinions. Because at this meeting we conduct essential business of the fire district, the Board of Fire Commissioners has placed a 3-minute rule on each question. Please attempt to abide by this rule. Anyone choosing to speak should address his or her remarks to the Board of Fire Commissioners. You can go ahead and let Ms. Lambert in now.
All righty. Ms. Lambert, you may unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your service. Just a couple things. First of all, I think you have a great idea of having a public committee to be discussing things with the public. I think that specifically in relationship to what I've understood happened with the Millwood Fire Department, that that public comment committee, whatever it's called, sorry, I'm not remembering the name, was incredibly helpful for finally getting their expansion, their new firehouse in their case, passed, because there was two-way communication. And I felt that it came very late in our last 2016. And having that along the way would be incredibly helpful. So I want to commend you and hope that that does happen. Secondly, as to form-based code, my concern remains that that the public comment section, including from the interested parties, such as the fire department, is going to close unless it's extended again in mid-February, I believe. And so my concern remains that that whatever the pressures might be on the fire department not being laid out for the public would be harmful, because neither the board, who gets to make the decision, and the public, who would have a chance to weigh in as late as mid-February, won't have that information. And thirdly, I think that I would love to see you as a board doing projections. I already feel that the actions of this board, the way and the processes are getting much more professional, and it's great to see it. But having sat on two boards for almost 30 years now, it's quite common to and appreciated to do projections in various scenarios looking forward. And that also would be a way to inform the public. One major thing I think is about what would be needed if we went part paid, if we went paid, and what the likelihoods of that are. So like, 3 different scenarios for the budget, for the expansion, for a lot of expenses. Looking forward, we don't have the benefit of that right now, and I hope that we will get it. And it seems to me like you're on the road to doing a much more professional job of the processes, and I'd love to see that be part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much. Future dates. The next regular meeting is scheduled.
Terry, I'm so sorry. Can I interrupt you just very, very briefly? With respect to the secretary's report, I just had one thing to throw out. So I wanted to do that before you went further. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that there was a FOIL matter that has been pending since prior to my appointment. That was the only thing I had on my report.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, actually. Yeah, we need to wrap that up. What I will do is I will reach out to our attorney again, because I reached out to him and he never got back to me. And then I was told by another board member that there was a conversation with the person who submitted the FOIL. That's not how we do it. When we get a FOIL, we must reply within a certain time period. And we have to acknowledge the receipt, then we have to reply. There's no way around it. We have to operate in accordance with the law, including FOIL. So thank you for bringing that up and getting it back on the record, Sandra. Thank you very much. Any discussion on that, anybody? Does anyone have any information on that?
Can we get it done within the next week or two?
Say again?
Can we get the answer to them in the next week or two on what they asked?
I think we need to. I believe that so the commissioner who had the discussion is no longer with us. So I'll reach out to the attorney first, and then to ask exactly what we should be doing at this point. And then maybe we can reach out to the individual who requested the information and maybe have them resubmit it and give us an additional time to respond. But I want to make it right. If we receive such a correspondence, we have to reply in accordance with the law. So, having said that, anything else, any discussion on that?
No.
Thank you. All right, so future dates, the next regular meeting is scheduled for February 11th at 7 PM via Zoom, unless otherwise posted. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Thank you.